Well, it looks like Mario and Luigi found those leaks because they have stopped everything from coming now for the foreseeable future. So what's up, Waluigi? Trent from Trentendo. Today we are talking Nintendo leaks because over the last couple of days, there's just been some crazy stuff and things that I honestly wouldn't have thought would all happen at the same time. Now, we knew a lot of this probably was going to happen eventually, but the way that everything has transpired with Midori and now Pyoro, it just makes you laugh at this point because who would have thought? Who would have thought? So before we hop into all that, hit that subscribe button, like this video. Let's just dive right in though, because like I said, this is just absolutely bonkers. And at this point, we don't know when the next Nintendo leak's coming or where it's going to come from, because the most reliable sources and even a lot of the sources that we've had along the way, they've all just been dried up. So first off, is we had to deal with Midori, recently that was, a guy pretending to be a Japanese woman, leaking things, and very interesting the way that they got outed. And, to be fair, it wasn't anything. I don't think that Midori was leaking anything that I was particularly interested in. I never saw anything that was like, oh, this is amazing. They had a lot to do with just different games, and the type of games that they were leaking, I probably wouldn't have been too interested in. I was more interested in Pyoro, and now Pyoro, his Twitter account is down. In an interview, he outed his source, apparently, talking about how he had access to the back end of the eShop website, which makes a ton of sense because of the timing of when his leaks came, the timing of, just how everything transpired. People thought he had access to the back end of YouTube, which, was not far off in the end of the day, because, if Nintendo's uploading their trailers and their directs and whatever to YouTube early, that would make sense because of how that timing worked out. But instead of the back end of YouTube, it's the back end of the eShop. So that's what gives us the whole idea of where he's getting pricing. This is the idea where we're getting what games are coming out, because as Nintendo's updating that eShop website prior to the direct, and his leaks were coming a couple of days out. It makes a lot of sense. Now though, the question is, with this all happening, with all this transpiring, the two people that we felt we really could count on, their sources are now going to be gone. And where does this leave us? Because even after this point, they were the last ones left almost, because we don't get leaks like we used to from Jeff Grubb or from Nate the Hate or from some of these other journalists that were willing to kind of say things. The way that they have even kind of pulled back in after, like, the Jeff Grubb getting his haircut from Metroid Prime Remastered. Nate the Hate has said stuff with Switch 2 that ended up getting, delayed, and now we're still waiting on hearing stuff about that. So they've even kind of tailored, pulled back and tailored the things that they say to be more, precise, and maybe not say as many things because they don't want to hit the backlash. And now, even these leakers now are hitting the reset button because they're getting their sources are outing. Like, it's just absolutely crazy to see all this happening. So especially now as we get closer as well to Nintendo Switch 2, it's going to be interesting to see when we start seeing leaks for this and who the sources are. Do we see a new person pop up? Do we see a new type of Pyoro? Is this a result of Nintendo cracking down on guys, or is this people not being willing to leak out as much because Nintendo's done a great job at being able to frustrate those attempts? They've done a better job at locking things down. So I think that we might not hear anything really until we start getting manufacturing reports again. That was kind of the last big one that we got outside of like a Pyoro thing, was some manufacturing companies in China sharing some information, and we haven't heard anything in a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens though, because like I said, we don't have any reliable sources, so anything that pops up now is taken with a massive grain of salt until we actually see something. And with Nintendo Direct just hitting, we can expect to, even if people start leaking stuff out specific to games, we're not going to know anything at least until September, when we would expect to see maybe another Direct. But assuming that we get a Switch 2 announcement around then, maybe we don't get another Direct and it's just a Switch 2 announcement. So there's so much up in the air, but I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below, because I think this is utterly fascinating, just the way that everything's kind of come out. Pyoro taking the interview and then outing his sources and then locking his account down, and Midori being, a catfish. It's been absolutely crazy to kind of see over the last couple of days, and it does feel like this is the end of Nintendo Leaks as we know it. And until we get another version of Pyoro, until we get someone else that's willing to has a source that's willing and able to get info and reliable info to them on a regular basis, we maybe just be waiting for people like Jeff Grubb and Nate the Hate and others, other journalists to kind of put their name on things that they've heard. But even then, like we've seen in the last couple of months in this last year or so, even then it's iffy on whether or not we can believe everything, despite their best efforts to really corroborate and have multiple sources on things. So we'll have to wait and see, but this is a very interesting time for Nintendo Leaks, and nothing like we've ever seen before. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on all of this and what's been going on. Hope you enjoyed, and until next time, catch you later.